This is where to go when life gets tough. Thank you for making it here. You've got to a stage where you're asking, what's the point? You don't mean, what's the point of exercising or eating healthily? You don't mean, what's the point of studying at school? You don't mean, what's the point of making friends or having kids or accumulating wealth or useless electronics? You really mean, what's the point of anything, of living, of existing? Are you asking, what's the point, because you're at the stage of giving up on your life? If you've been feeling, dear friend, as if there's no point in being here, remember, most of us have those thoughts at one point or another in our lives. If you've considered acting on them though, that's different. And I could only urge you to speak to someone about it. A friend, a colleague, your doctor, anyone you trust. People will want to help, even if the self-destructive part of you won't let you believe it. People will want to help, I guarantee it. Don't feel you're a burden on anybody. Don't feel you have to try to handle that alone, because you don't. But are you asking, what's the point? Because deep down, you know there's a point to your life, but you just can't seem to figure out what it is. That's a tough situation to be in as well, dear friend. In my experience as a counsellor, people do tend to look for the answer to that question outside of themselves. I mean, that's why you're here, right? What's the point? We want to have the answer given to us conveniently. That's understandable. We can't seem to figure it out on our own. It's not obvious to us what we're meant to do, right? It's as if it's not up to you, though. It's as if it's up to somebody else to decide what you're meant to do. Who would that person be? Let me just say at this stage, if you're a spiritual person and your faith tells you that God has the answer, then you must ask directly for it. Otherwise, how would you know? For those not of a spiritual inclination, the only person able to decide what's the point of your life or what's your purpose is you yourself. Who else could it be? I'd like you to be happy with the idea that it really is your decision. But then, what do you do if you can't figure out for yourself the point of your life? Okay, let's try to shape an action plan. First, I think it's useful to have a wider perspective on the question. See, sometimes we hit a brick wall in our lives. Again, in my experience, that can happen because the path we're on doesn't match with what we intuitively know is our true purpose. Yes, I totally believe there is a true purpose in each of us, but I believe it's you who knows what that is. It hasn't been decided by the universe or any other agent, it's you. Again though, your true purpose hasn't been predetermined. So you're not trying to uncover it, rather, you have to figure it out from scratch. If that's true, it makes sense why we get disillusioned, why we end up asking, what's the point? Because we've been looking everywhere for this point of my life, except the one place we'll find it. In other words, by starting from scratch and working it out ourselves. But the action plan is quite simple. It just consists of asking yourself questions and, at the same time, not being resistant to the answers you may get. So what questions do I ask to figure out the point of my life? They usually involve taking money, wages, or payment out of the equation. You see, we work because we're told to. We work because we live in a system that requires money. The point of your life is often unlikely to involve money. Of course, you may get paid, maybe well paid, for the actions involved in whatever you decide is the point of your life, but you may not. Remember, this isn't necessarily about a career. Too often, we confuse career and being a productive member of society with our true purpose. This is about that point. What's the point? So try these questions on yourself. What do you love to do so much that you forget the time, that you forget to eat? What is that thing? What would your 10-year-old self ask you now about your life path if you met them? And at the other end, imagine talking to yourself on your deathbed. What would be the single worst regret you'd have? The thing you wish you had used your life for? This one is kind of paraphrased from the movie Fight Club. If a crazed psychopath put a gun to your head and said they'd shoot you unless you tell them the first action you're going to take to become your true purpose, what would the first action be that you'd think of? You don't need lots of questions. Just because it's taken you years to get here, this process needn't take years to figure out. The answer to this question, what's the point? It's in you already. You already know it. You just gotta ask yourself a few simple questions, sort of like the ones I mentioned. But you also gotta be open to the answers. Try not to push anything away because it doesn't match your life's current path, because you may not be on the right path for you. That can be tough to take in. But sometimes finding what's the point isn't a matter of running towards the answer, it's a matter of not running away anymore from the point and purpose that you intuitively know to be true for you. Love yourself enough to allow that true purpose to come through. Allow it because you're worth it, because you deserve it. This is where to go when life gets tough. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to play this again. If it's what helps you right now, go ahead and listen over. That's just as it should be. I really want to keep helping in any small way I can, so click a thumbs up and let me know. Or, if I've fallen short of the mark, let me know in the comments, because that could help me and others too. As well as that, I would love to give you an individual word of encouragement or mention in the next video. So just subscribe and get in touch with me in the comments. I'm a real person sharing my own experiences of this. So until I hear from you again, you have my sincerest thoughts, wishes, and prayers.